In this video, I will discuss the determinants of demand. First, the determinants or factors affecting demand means all the factors or elements that might affect demand, means that may be the reason for increase or decrease in demand or no increase or decrease in demand. The first is the product's own price. Uh, normally uh, if price rises we demand less of any commodity, and if price falls we demand more of that commodity. So this is the first factor that influence the demand of a commodity. The second is income of the consumer. If income of the consumer rises for whatever reason, the consumer demands more, uh, and if the consumer's income falls, the consumer demands less. But while discussing income of the consumer factor or determinant, the goods is divided into two categories. One is normal goods and the other is inferior goods. Normal goods are those goods uh, whom we assume to be superior nature, like green vegetables, pulses, good quality rice, paneer, or non-veg items, milk, etc. There is inferior goods. Inferior goods are those goods in economics. Those are of nature of necessary goods. That means those are must for survival, and usually they are available at cheaper prices in the market. So, uh, the income effect on these two normal and inferior goods are in different way. In case of normal goods, as consumers' income rises, demand for normal goods rises, and as consumers' income falls, demand for normal goods also falls. But in case of inferior goods, the effect is just inverse. As income rises, demand for inferior goods falls, and as income falls, demand for inferior goods rises. So this is the income effect. The third is taste and preferences. Taste and preferences. If some goods suddenly we have more desire or more preference for some certain goods available in the market, due to increase in taste or preference, we buy more of that goods. And if suddenly there is a fall in taste, or there is no preference for that goods in our life in those phase of time, we demand lesser of that commodity. The fourth impact is substitute goods. If the substitute goods are available at cheaper prices, the goods that we are consuming in present, we demand in less quantity than the goods whose the substitute goods whose price has fallen. It means in case of substitute goods, the two of the goods whose price falls are demanded more, and whose price rises are demanded less. There is another what is a substitute goods? That might be the confusion. Substitute goods are those goods, those are of homogeneous nature in terms of shape, size, look, flavor, taste, etc. Like cold drinks of different companies, tea leaves of different companies, etc. Another factor is complementary goods. Complementary goods are those goods in which both are needed to satisfy our wants. For example, if we want to make tea, so we must buy sugar, tea leaves, milk, etc. in India to make tea. So those are all items are complementary goods to have a cup of tea. In the same way, bike and petrol are complementary in nature because both are needed to drive a bike. If you have petrol and no bike, you can't ride. Or if you have a bike and no petrol, then also you can't ride. So both are needed. in case of complementary goods, if the price of complementary goods rises, demand falls, and if the price of complementary good falls, demand rises. The other factor that affects demand are is fashion and trends. All those goods, uh, those are currently in fashion and have a trend in market, then demand for those goods rises in the market. And if they are out of fashion, they are no more in trends, then demand for those goods tend to fall. Another factor that affects demand is number of consumers in the market. If number of consumers are increasing in the market, then demand will rise. And if for whatever reason the number of consumer falls in the market, demand for that commodity will also fall. Another factor that affects demand or determinants of demand are government policy. If government wants to have a positive environment or positive trend for goods in the market, then government reduces tax on that product, gives some kind of subsidy, then demand for such goods rises in the market. But if government does not favor any goods, जैसे कि नशा वाले जो आइटम सब हैं, ड्रग्स हैं, in that case, gutka, etc. In that case, wines. These are the examples of goods which is not favored by government. In such cases, government increases the tax and tariff rates. So this leads to fall in demand of those goods. So I have discussed the factors affecting demand. You should also read your book. And if you have problem, please call me 9333 124957. I am ready to discuss with you in detail. Thank you.